The Wilson family's annual vacation to Hawaii takes a terrifying turn when they land on what should have been the familiar island of Maui. Instead, they find themselves on a mysterious island teeming with strange creatures and a haunting secret. Join John, Linda, Max, and Sophie as they navigate the dense jungle, uncover hidden rituals, and come face to face with the island's sinister manager, Mr. Harrington. With their lives at stake, the family must find a way to escape the island that exists between worlds. Will they make it back to the mainland, or will the shadows of the island consume them? Watch this thrilling tale of adventure, mystery, and survival unfold.
The Island of Shadows. The Wilson family had been eagerly anticipating their annual vacation to Hawaii, a tradition that had brought them joy and relaxation for years. This year, however, something felt different as their plane touched down on what was supposed to be the familiar island of Maui. The air was heavy with an unfamiliar tension, and the lush landscape seemed eerily foreign. As they stepped off the plane, John couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. The island seemed much smaller than he remembered, and the dense jungle that surrounded the airport was teeming with strange, exotic animals he had never seen before. "Are you sure this is Maui?" John asked, his brow furrowed with concern. Linda glanced around, her unease mirrored in her eyes. "It doesn't look like the Maui we know." Max's excitement, however, was undeterred. "Come on, guys. It's an adventure. Let's check in and see what this place has to offer." They made their way to the hotel, a grand but slightly dilapidated building that seemed out of place in the lush surroundings. The staff greeted them with polite smiles, but there was an undercurrent of unease in their demeanor. "Welcome to the island resort," said a tall, thin man with a forced smile. "I'm Mr. Harrington, the manager. We hope you enjoy your stay." As they settled into their rooms, the feeling of unease only grew stronger. The hotel was eerily quiet, and the few other guests they saw seemed distant and secretive. That evening, as they dined in the hotel restaurant, they overheard snippets of hushed conversations and noticed the staff exchanging worried glances. "I don't like this," Sophie whispered to her parents. "Something's not right here." John nodded, his protective instincts on high alert. "We'll keep our eyes open. Let's take a walk after dinner and see if we can figure out what's going on." As the family strolled along the beach, the sound of the waves crashing against the shore was almost soothing. But the tranquility was shattered when they saw a group of wild animals emerging from the jungle. Creatures that looked like a cross between a boar and a lizard, with glowing eyes and sharp tusks. "Those animals, they're not natural," Linda said, her voice trembling. "I've never seen anything like them." Max's curiosity got the better of him. "Let's follow them and see where they go." Reluctantly, the family ventured into the jungle, following the strange creatures. The dense foliage closed in around them, and the sounds of the night grew louder and more ominous. They stumbled upon a hidden clearing where they saw a group of people gathered around a large stone altar. The figures were dressed in ceremonial robes, and their faces were obscured by masks. As the family watched in horror, they realized that the hotel staff were among the robed figures. "What is this place?" Sophie whispered, her voice filled with fear. Before they could retreat, they were spotted by one of the robed figures, who let out a shrill whistle. The group turned their attention to the family, and Mr. Harrington stepped forward, his mask gleaming in the moonlight. "You shouldn't be here," he said, his voice cold and menacing. "This island is not what it seems." The family turned to flee, but they were quickly surrounded by the strange creatures, their glowing eyes fixed on their prey. Mr. Harrington approached, his expression unreadable. "You've stumbled upon our secret," he said, his voice low. "This island is not on any map. It exists between worlds, a place where the laws of nature don't apply." John's mind raced as he tried to think of a way out. "What do you want from us?" Mr. Harrington's eyes gleamed with a sinister light. "You must leave and never return. Forget what you've seen here or face the consequences." The family was escorted back to the hotel, the strange creatures keeping a close watch on them. That night they gathered in their room, the weight of the revelation heavy on their hearts. "We need to get out of here," John said, his voice filled with determination. First thing in the morning, we'll find a way back to the airport. But as the first light of dawn broke, they discovered that their only means of escape, their rental car, had been sabotaged. The tires were slashed, and the engine wouldn't start. We'll have to find another way, Linda said, her voice steady despite the fear in her eyes. Max's adventurous spirit resurfaced. Maybe we can find a boat. There has to be one somewhere on this island. The family set off on foot, their determination driving them forward. They navigated the dense jungle, avoiding the strange creatures that roamed the island. After hours of searching, they stumbled upon an old, abandoned dock with a small, weathered boat tied to it. "This is our chance," John said, his voice filled with hope. "Let's get out of here." As they prepared the boat for departure, they heard footsteps approaching. The family turned to see Mr. Harrington and a group of robed figures emerging from the jungle, their expressions filled with rage. "You can't leave," Mr. Harrington said, his voice filled with menace. "You've seen too much." But before they could react, the ground beneath them began to tremble. The island itself seemed to be reacting to their presence, and the strange creatures emerged from the jungle, their eyes glowing with an otherworldly light. "Get in the boat now!" John shouted, his voice filled with urgency. The family scrambled into the boat, and John started the engine. As they sped away from the island, the robed figures and creatures watched from the shore, their forms growing smaller in the distance. The boat raced across the water, and the family felt a sense of relief as the island disappeared from view. But as they neared the mainland, they realized that their ordeal was far from over. The boat's engines sputtered and died, leaving them stranded in the middle of the ocean. Panic set in as they tried to restart the engine, but it was no use. "We're stuck," Linda said, her voice filled with despair. Suddenly, a large ship appeared on the horizon, its silhouette cutting through the morning mist. The family waved frantically, hoping to be rescued. As the ship drew closer, they saw the crew waving back. Relief washed over them as they were pulled aboard. "Thank you," John said, his voice filled with gratitude. "We need to get back to the mainland." The captain of the ship, a stern-looking man with a weathered face, nodded. "We'll get you there, but you need to tell us what happened." The family recounted their harrowing experience, their voices trembling with fear. The captain listened intently, his expression growing more serious with each word. "You were lucky to escape," he said. "That island, it's a place that shouldn't exist. People who go there rarely return." As the ship sailed toward the mainland, the family felt a sense of relief. They had escaped the island's horrors, but the memory of their ordeal would haunt them forever. Thanks for joining us on another thrilling quest. We hope you enjoyed unraveling today's mystery. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the Thrill Quests to keep the adventure alive. And remember, there's always another mystery waiting to be solved, so be sure to tune in for tomorrow's episode. Until then, stay curious and keep questing.